makes one unable to resist wanting to approach and caress passionately. Shashai is truly spirited. Qin Yuan's voice revealed his exhaustion. I can't remember my own achievements anymore. Yuan Bon Shashai Lang for a moment. It seems I've understood something. Smiled and said, also, you have to tutor AI Lai tomorrow. Still have to work. Why does this sound so awkward? Qin Yuan's intentions were subtle, glancing at the wife's chest. Compared to before, it appears more mature and full, delicate collarbone, fair skin, and the faint outline of suction. All of this made Qin Yuan unable to stop. Beautiful long hair like a waterfall, handsome appearance, a full 5 pounds of rotten meat. There are also long and straight eyebrows. If it weren't for my strong willpower, I don't know what will happen. Caressing each other's brows and legs back and forth. In the mouth, a voice sounded with a hint of reproach. We agreed to take a break, also reminded. At that moment, his phone rang. It's a text message. Glimpse. It is indeed the victim who came to plant trees with Gong. As the president of the company, I planted trees with Gong. Due to the nature of work, busy running around the country all day long, although often brings with it Gong Shashai, many precious gifts. But the two of them hardly ever had a proper conversation. The police in Tokyo are very incompetent, but also relying on the slightest clues. It took 2 years. Successfully found Gong Shashai. After being taken away, he was forcibly taken to a blind date. And planting trees with Gong is like a blind date. He never wanted to get married. But as soon as I heard about this victim, turns out he is a eunuch, suddenly changed their mind. The tree planting with the public won't work there. So along, put ambition into business. He has no background. Set their sights on connections with the public sector. So he wanted to marry into the family. After the two made their agreement. A perfect match. It may not even be 6 months with Gong Shashai. To see this husband once. What does he want now by messaging me? Together with Gong Shashai they set off. A faint sigh. He feels no guilt, because it was decided before the marriage. So he has always been carefree, pursuing Qin Yuan, just thinking about the present. There's no way to get a divorce immediately. He and Qin Yuan were straightforward and upright. Kiss me, hug me. I can't help but frown in distress. He was just about to check on this unfortunate soul. What message was sent? Qin Yuan reached out and snatched the phone away, and spoke seriously. Don't let me see my phone. You can't look either. So domineering. Only saw Gong Shashai by my side, lying in bed. The corners of his mouth slightly drooped. I just like the Qin army like this. Please continue to treat me this way. As long as you like it. I can do anything, even if it's a belt. Charming and captivating voice. Lingering in the ear, Qin Yuan was overwhelmed with excitement. Extend the long arm. Gently stroked Gong Shashai's head. Let's do it again. The following paid content. Paidu. So I am also a part of your play. After the clouds disperse and the rain falls, both of them are tired. Qin Yuan opened his phone. In front of my eyes. It's just a text bomb from AI Lai. Qin Yuan frowned slightly, afraid to reply. While flipping through the chat records, I found news about that good brother from online. The corners of the mouth lifted. Immediately began to respond. Seeing this scene, Gong Shashai pouted and stared at Qin Yuan, feeling a bit jealous. He carefully observed Qin Yuan's chat partner. Astonishingly discovered. This avatar and ID seem very familiar. Jing He and Gong AI Lai's trumpet. Quite similar. holding tightly onto the pink circle with Gong Shaddai. Some are feeling indignant. Ming Ming had just shared a tender moment. Once again, Yu is secretly meeting with Gong Ailey, still chatting so happily. They'd calling out sweet names like baby. Stop messaging that nasty girl, okay? I can read. Well, you send me 2 messages as well. I beg you. You Gong Shajai, crying out in my heart endlessly, tears welling up in the eyes. Qin Yuan chatted for a while. Sleepiness creeps in. Yawned, embracing the soft, supple body of Gong Shajai. The head sank into the perfect curve and fell asleep. Yu Gong Shajai pouted, thought about it, this time's result, then picked up the phone to take a photo. Took hundreds of shots in a row, after various poses in the photos. Kai Zin was completely satisfied. Hee, the Qin army is truly adorable. I love it the most. By the way, she also needs to understand that brat, who is the rightful queen. She chose a few photos that were not so revealing. Send it to Gong Ailey. Then a smiling face appeared, a confident appearance of having victory in hand. This time she really won. Gong Ailey received the news. Suddenly, Dai Mei began the countdown. A lovely and delicate pretty face. A smile that comes unconsciously. A smile that comes unconsciously. She chose a few less revealing photos. Sent to Gong Ailey. Then smiled brightly. A confident demeanor as if victory is assured. This time she really won. Gong Ailey received the news. Suddenly, Dai Mei counted down. Lovely and delicate pretty face. It's also twisted into a ball. Feeling frustrated, she replied, 30 years on the East Bank. 30 years on the West Bank. End stage girl is poor. Yugong Shaddai saw the news. A face full of contempt, proudly puffing out his chest. Bury Qin Yuan even deeper, and reply to the message. I will give you time to cash up, until you can no longer see. Exhibiting a perfect figure. Unable to resist, I took a few pictures of Qin Yuan's sleeping face. Took out 10,000 yuan bills from the bag, neatly stacked on the bedside table. Then put on the clothes. I was getting ready to buy some groceries. Prepare a hearty breakfast. Qin Yuan got up only when the sun was high in the sky, rubbing the heart's eyes, feeling drowsy and sluggish. Yawned, looking around anxiously, but could not find the figure of Gong Shajai. She was just about to get up. My gaze was drawn to a stack of cash beside me. Swallow saliva directly. Early to bed is known throughout the world. Still, Zhu Feihong soars through the clouds. Qin Yuan grabbed the banknotes. Inviting guests for conversation, I am delighted to be lively. 100,000 yen. Hold the money close to your chest. In an instant, feeling a myriad of emotions in my heart. Young and unaware of the benefits of being with a wealthy woman, mistaking a lowly for a treasure, this run, it really made her anxious and restless. Finished. I don't want to try hard any more. What should I do? Madam is simply too fragrant. I can't stand it. It's truly fallen too far. Qin Yuan, you. How could you think that way? However, when one is self-improving, Qi Wai Wu Yifeng cannot forget. What does it mean to live off someone? This is called inheriting tradition. Qin Yuan murmured to himself. Waves of emotion surge within my heart. The heart begins to shatter. At this moment, a sound of footsteps approached. Qin Yuan's monologue suddenly came to an abrupt halt. The door slowly opened. Yugong Shajai, Zio Yiru Hewitt appeared before me. Oh dear. Are you awake now? Yugong Shajai looked regretful. Entering the room, holding the kitchen knife in hand, smiled at Qin Yuan. Just right. Breakfast is ready. Let's eat together. Qin Yuan took a few deep breaths. Calm down. I saw that knife. His heart trembled instantly. Who wakes people up at their house? Also carrying a kitchen knife. This moment, Qin Yuan reminisced about the past. Fear of being controlled by the wife. That, I'm not hungry for now. Yugong Shatai listened to Qin Yuan's words. The smile froze. He walked in front of Qin Yuan, bent down, grabbed Qin Yuan's collar, then lift up the chin again. Qin Army, aren't you hungry? But I'm hungry. Speaking, he dropped 10,000 yen. Jiao Sheng Mei Yu, is it okay now? Let's go. There are no Qin troops. I can't eat a single bite. I also want to be fed by the Qin army. I also want to kiss Qin Jun indirectly. Why can't I love? I can't do it. Mentioning the name Ailey, Qin Yuan clearly sensed the feelings of Yugong Shajai. He heard the overwhelming jealousy, suddenly understood his intention. I understand, but if I can't eat any more. Please don't force me. Qin Yuan sighed. Choose compromise. Yugong Shajai gently stroked Qin Yuan's smooth cheek with a smile. That's right. I will definitely treat you gently. The words fell silent. He held Qin Yuan's hand. Bai Quan stepped away, following behind Rain Gong Shajai, looking at this alluring white body. A seductive and enchanting aura emanated from her, no matter which part. They have already developed quite maturely, curvy and voluptuous. Curvy figure with some meat has already faded from its youthful delicacy, just like a juicy, luscious peach, the perfect season for picking. Today I am still wearing a tight-fitting kipao. Qin Yuan was already feeling a bit overwhelmed. Want to return to Yugong Shajai's room. Until seated, he was still reluctant to part, gently kneading and playing with Qin Yuan's palm with her jade-like hands, causing Qin Yuan's face to turn red. Suddenly, Yugong Shashai seemed to recall something, said with a sly smile, Qin army, feed me. Ah, the strength in my hands suddenly increased a bit. Hold Qin Yuan firmly in front. Qin Yuan had no choice but to cooperate. Pick up a piece of meat, sent into that humid and hot mouth. Shashai, eat slowly. Don't choke. Because it's delicious, ha ha. See, you almost choked. Qin Yuan watched his slightly twisted, pointed face, gently patted his back, gently wiped the corner of the mouth with a tissue. However, the sound of coughing continued. The jade-like face of Yugong Shajai. Unhealthy red hues emerge. Qin Yuan playfully licked his lips. Instead, I found my wife even more alluring. The soft body lay slightly still, coughing continuously. Gradually, the rain envelops the soft body of Shajai. Unconsciously started to feel warm. Fragrant sweat trickled down the skin. The expression gradually became hazy. A flush of color appeared. Qin Yuan hurriedly turned his head away. I dare not look again. Why is the cough like this? Could it be because of last night? Next time, I will definitely pay more attention. A few seconds later, Yugong Shatai has just recovered. The whole body feels warm. The soft skin is burning hot. Sweat soaked the clothes. Damn it was not easy for the Qin army to take it lightly, unexpectedly showing such a disgraceful appearance. My throat hurts and itches again. I feel so uncomfortable. Wah wah wah. Qin Yuan couldn't help but scratch his head. Generally, it choked me. Can the cough be this severe? He pressed one hand against his forehead. A hand pressed against the forehead of Yugong Shajai. Carefully compare the temperature. Mrs. Ming's forehead is much hotter. This is a fever. Shajai, you caught a cold. It might have been when I went grocery shopping in the morning. Yu Gong Shajai coughed while speaking, the appearance of illness, but becomes even more delicious and tempting. She looked at Qin Yuan with enchanting eyes, unconsciously pulling away. Cannot spread the cold to Qin Jun. My chest feels uncomfortable. Woo, such beautiful weather, but cannot go on a date with the Qin army. I feel so sad. He wiped away his tears. A pitiful appearance. I saw the oil lotus. I'll go buy some cold medicine, Qin Yuan said lightly. Then I'm counting on you, Yu Gong Shajai weakly said. But Kaio's face showed no signs of happiness. Perhaps it was last night's growth. He has a more popular flavor than ever before, more obedient and understanding. This shocked. He is also borrowing arrogance and impatience. Qin Yuan thought for a moment. Finally, the decision was made. Let's go together, Shajai. Let's buy some supplements together then. He reached out his hand towards Yugong Shajai. Ki Yugong Shajai fan usually retreats as usual. I can't pass the cold to King Jun. Her delicate voice. It evokes pity. It's heartbreaking to be so understanding, but I really want to. Dating and shopping with the Qin army. Ailey received from the Qin army. I don't want to fall behind at all. But what if the Qin army catches a cold too? I can never forgive myself. So tangled up. It's so uncomfortable. My chest hurts so much. The Qin army sighed repeatedly, suddenly leaned in. He directly picked up Yu Gong Shajai, unreservedly towards his jade-like face, gently kissed like a dragonfly touching the water. It's nothing. I am healthy. Never caught a cold. Let's do it together. Facing the formidable Qin army, Yu Gong Shajai's sickly pale cheeks regained some vitality. The ground is burning hot. But if you don't want to go, just say so. No, I want to go, Yu Gong Shajai quickly said, arms as white and tender as lotus roots. Wrap around Qin army's neck. Moist mouths. Emotions deeply resonate with the heart. Tangled strands of hair. Whispering, I've heard that drinking yogurt is good for a cold. Then let's go buy some yogurt, King Yuan said calmly. Put down the rain god's sand. Then tightly held onto his fleece jacket, walking towards the outdoors. Following behind Qin Yuan, Yu Gong Shajai was slightly taken aback. Yu's face revealed a subtle hint of disappointment. The yogurt I want is... Forget it. The Qin army can shop together. That's already enough. Since last night, the Qin army became very powerful. Is it related to the aspect of awakening? I really like it. Since that's the case, let's buy him a new belt while we're out. Yu Gong Shajai weakly, leaning on Qin Yuan's shoulder. The appearance of a little bird alone makes one's blood boil. He brought various fruits he bought. The medicine bottle is placed well. He carried Yu Gong Shajai into the chamber, gently placed him on the bed. Yu Gong Shajai immediately got into bed. It seemed utterly exhausted. Beautiful eyes tightly shut, breathing steadily, as if about to fall asleep. Qin Yuan thoughtfully took care of her nearby, feeding him cup after cup of yogurt. Shajai, get a good night's sleep. His tone is gentle and kind, as if coaxing a child, and extended his finger, wiping the yogurt residue from the corner of the mouth. Fingertips touch that soft and fragrant essence, a sensation that makes one feel tingly. Qin Yuan felt restless inside. He quickly suppressed the flames. This is a patient. Do not take advantage of someone's misfortune. Ji Gong Shajai's condition is improving. Qin Yuan turned to leave. Stay a little longer. He is afraid he won't be able to hold on. Make strange moves. So hot, so itchy. Hearing the voice of the heart, Qin Yuan's footsteps involuntarily came to a halt. Why hasn't the Qin army acted yet? So anxious. To capture, one must let go. Really bad. My chest feels heavy. Can you help me knead it a bit? The clothes are also wet. He also doesn't know how to help me change it. Qin Yuan took a deep breath, reviving the dead ashes with a cleansing fire. Walk away briskly, shedding the skin. No more than 206. Viewing the beauty like white made me desireless. He quietly walked out of the boudoir, walking through that corridor again, all alone. Slowly, I couldn't reach the house in the rain god's love. A faint smile lingered at the corners of the mouth, compared to Rain Gong Shajai, the little girl in this room. It just doesn't have that allure anymore. Qin Yuan was just about to raise his hand to knock on the door. The door was already open. A pinkish white lotus root coin emerged. He pulled him directly inside. As soon as I entered the door, Qin Yuan was pushed onto the bed. A beautiful young girl appeared. Suddenly it pressed down on me. First, the breathing became heavy, and then the complexion changed. It has also become rosy, full of jade red. It felt as if I had been poisoned. You still know to come find me. You gong ai lie, embracing Qin Yuan in a flirtatious manner. Two long jade legs, her arms wrapped tightly around his waist, resting my head on Qin Yuan's shoulder, into his ear, breathing heavily and exhaling warm air. Qin Yuan was taken aback, quickly realized, directly reached out to grab that delicate little foot, fingers repeatedly rubbing the smooth sole. Just a few seconds. Yan gong ai lie, and couldn't stop laughing. The willow spirit continuously struggled to rise. Dazed eyes. My mu why and watching the Jade clan being toyed with. It brought him to the height of shame. You pervert. Dare to call again? Qin Yuan's hand firmly pressed down on his head. He was bullied until he begged for mercy. I was wrong. Don't hit my head anymore. Looking at the constantly pleading Rain Lord Ai lie. In Qin Yuan's mind, suddenly a wicked thought flashed by. A sinister smile appeared on his face. Ling Bling coldly smiled and said, "Let's have an exciting and thrilling surprise exam." Yugong tilted his head, confused and perplexed. "I've only been learning for 3 days. The exam is coming. Don't worry, it's not a difficult problem. Let's see how well you've learned." "I must be very serious," Yugong Ai said somewhat unconfidently. "These days, it's just the struggle for favor in the case of the Rain Prince's murder. Just exhausted all my energy." At night, they were secretly looking at strange study materials. "Haven't studied much." Qin Yuan casually wrote down a few simple and enjoyable questions on paper. "Sorry, I can't assist with that." The most basic level. Yugong looked at the title, but suddenly fell into a brainstorming session. This. She looked at all of this in confusion, suddenly feeling dizzy and disoriented. Everyone knows each character, yet completely unaware of how to spell it. I abstain. Yugong Ai gave up thinking, lying in bed like a dead fish, completely still. This is just giving up. Looking at the dawn light, looking at the rain god, looking at the skylight, looking at the dawn light, looking at the skylight, looking at the dawn, watching the dawn light, looking at the dawn, Zuyatan, looking at the sky. "I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that." "I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that." "Oh, Pugger, it seems like you may have changed your mind. If you have a different request or need assistance with something else, please let me know." Can HMPH. Pan floating. Pan trembling uncontrollably. The 9 years of compulsory education experienced in a past life. He knows too well. What does a strict teacher look like? You are far superior to the teachers from the Sakura nation. Yugong Ailey swallowed. Nervousness made me sweat all over. The feet go drip, drip, drip. Be a little gentler. Just finished speaking. Qin Yuan took out a brand new belt, swinging vigorously at the air. The sound of 4 ears. Scared you, Palace Ailey. Directly tearful. Please raise your hand before speaking. Why are you staring at me? Do I have words on my face? Hurry up and read the book. Don't look around. Comrades fight together, sharing the same struggles. Can't you even hold a pen? Yugong Ailey was completely stunned, frozen in fear. Just a few minutes have passed. Bayan shakily raised his hand. Teacher, I want to go to the restroom. Time quickly passed to the evening. Qin Yuan returned to his previous demeanor. So calm that. Let's go. I'm going to be late for work. Could speak, but received no response for a long time. He looked at it in confusion. Yugong Ailey raised her hand, not daring to speak. All right, all right. Take it easy. Qin Yuan waved his hand. These few short hours. This girl has cried several times. I'll go take a shower first. Yugong Ai Lai Wen Yan. I stood up unsteadily. Red, swollen, beautiful eyes. 2 lines of tear stains are clearly visible. Qin Yuan sighed softly. She walked towards the bathroom holding her wet skirt. After a while, I changed into a clean school uniform before coming back. After training, the whole person has become much more obedient, standing quietly in front, like a porcelain doll. He was already sweet-looking, as if a celestial being. After calming down, it exudes an ethereal and transcendent quality. Qin Yuan shrugged, didn't say anything, taking him to the izakaya where he works. On the road, he couldn't help but curiously ask about that store manager. He seems to care a lot about my status as a student, especially when I mentioned the university and major I attended. His eyes sparkled. It feels like it's going to swallow me whole. Can't help but complain a bit. Until now, Qin Yuan still felt a bit scared. Yugong Ailey's emotions have stabilized quite a bit. The mindset gradually returned to normal. He said indifferently while holding Qin Yuan's arm. He will definitely find it interesting. After all, he is the youngest professor in the astronomy department of Dong University. Oh, I see. Wait a moment. He is a professor, still in the astronomy department. Qin Yuan stood frozen in place, unable to believe it. Inside the izakaya, in the deep winter, Zhu Nai lay on the office chair. The fair and delicate feet rested on the desk, looking at a document with great interest, holding a color in hand. The corners of the mouth lifted. I am really looking forward to it. Qin Yuan actually dares to be late. It seems I need to train hard. At dusk, Qin Yuan brought the revitalized Yugong Ailey, heading to the izakaya, paused at the entrance. Completed. It was the first day of work, and I was late. He glanced at his phone. Instantly, a frown appeared. Izakaya has started its business. Guests are entering one after another. Who told you to take your time? Yugong Ailey crossed her arms over her chest. Zhao Qin Yuan cast a reproachful glance, seeing him with such a carefree demeanor. Qin Yuan sighed. If you hadn't taken that shower. We arrived early. You always scare me with the belt. My dress is all wet now. Yugong Ailey blushed and quietly complained. He pursed his lips. After thinking for a moment, they said, Left. Count me wrong. I will treat you to dinner tonight. You actually invited me to dinner. What do you take me for? Just having a meal. It won't cost much again. You are not. Kin Yuan hesitated to speak. After thinking it over, I remained silent. This girl is as poor as a church mouse. Surprisingly, you are still willing to treat others. We've come this far. It's not good to blame him any further. Two people walked into the store. In an instant, all employees in the store, everyone looked at the two with strange eyes. It's normal for young couples to enjoy their personal space together, but don't let it affect the business in the shop. An old employee stepped forward. They warned the two. Sorry, sorry. Submitting the assignment took a lot of time. I'll be more careful next time. Yugong Ailey said with great apologies. The old employee nodded. No more words need to be said. The two quickly changed their clothes to prepare for work. Under the intense gaze of the crowd, Yugong Ailey held Kin Yuan's hand, quickly entered the changing room. She then continued without a care, changing clothes in front of Kin Yuan. Kin Yuan turned his head and resisted the urge to peek. As she changed her clothes, she casually said, "They seem to think we're a couple. Afterward, I will try to avoid it. This way, they won't misunderstand. In Tokyo, the purity of a young girl is very important. The harm caused by rumors is incalculable. Just want to avoid. It's better to have such misunderstandings." Yugong Ailey thought for a moment, changed the way of saying it. "A beautiful girl like me. It's easy to be targeted by bad people. But what if I had a boyfriend? Isn't that much safer? So you just help out. Disguise yourself. After all, we are innocent. Have a clear conscience." Kin Yuan couldn't help but glance behind him. The snow-white pupil softly said, "It's up to you. He doesn't care about these. But I'm afraid my wife will get jealous." The two changed their clothes, then left the room to go to work. An image embedded on the road suddenly blocked the way. It was that ice-cold beauty, Snow Milk of deep winter, today wearing a low-cut black bodycon dress. Tight-fitting clothes draw that perfect curve, fully showcased the alluring suit chest, with a well-rounded, firm bottom, creating a beautiful landscape. Beneath the skirt is a pair of half-silk stockings, full-bodied jade feet, wrapped tightly, the fair skin that couldn't be concealed above the sea silk, evoking a flood of thoughts, especially that 6-foot strap, none of them live up to 7 feet tall, discussing body shape. This woman is no less than a lady. So terrifying, terrifying as it is. Just as Kin Yuan was seriously judging this evil scene, that cold voice rang out, "I need you to come over here for a moment." He pointed at Kin Yuan. An arrogant attitude is unpleasant. Kin Yuan casually hummed. He walked into the office. For some reason, a bad feeling arose in my heart. I need to organize some computer files over here, but there are some matters I can't get away from right now. It should take about 2 to 3 hours. Could you please help me out? Sure. In the deep winter, the indifferent gaze of the snow fell upon me, unable to feel a hint of emotion. No problem. Kin Yuan agreed. Due to height reasons, I can only look down at him. But it's a matter of perspective. But also leads to the inevitable. We'll showcase that exquisite collarbone. And the northern hemisphere. I see everything clearly. There is a small black mole on the chest. It seems so. Deep winter snow nigh has an indifferent demeanor. Instead, it brought the suburbs a bit closer. A delicate hand, gently patting Kin Yuan's shoulder. Be more spirited. Don't embarrass the college students. Got it. Get the answer. Deep winter snow milk turned and left directly. Bang the office door shut. Surrounded by no one. Qin Yuan let out a sigh of relief. Feeling completely comfortable, the air conditioning in the office is really nice and cool. Qin Yuan stood in front of the air conditioner, eyes half closed. It feels so refreshing. After enjoying enough, he turned his gaze to the desktop computer on the office desk, curiously checked the configuration, suddenly exclaimed, "Whether it's the graphics card or the CPU, they are all top tier." He glanced at the deep winter snow. Task assigned to oneself. It's all quite simple. Most of the time, it's about categorizing and organizing the materials. Qin Yuan skillfully completed all the tasks. It only took a few minutes. The manager said he would be busy for 2 or 3 hours before returning. Since that's the case, this high-end computer, isn't this just letting him play around? I really want to secretly play Black Myth. Hurry, hurry! Qin Yuan couldn't help but smirk. A seamless flow of actions. The game has been downloaded. Oh yeah, he can be considered a bit of an internet addiction teenager. Unfortunately, I came to Tokyo. I haven't had the chance to use a computer. Today I can finally satisfy my craving to play. Qin Yuan set the alarm clock for 2 hours, then became immersed in the game world, unable to extricate themselves. What tiger vanguard cannot withstand a blow? Qin Yuan's eyes sparkled. Entering the realm of all things, I want to execute such a perfect move. A smooth device is essential. This machine of mine, using those cold paws, staring at oneself intensely. Qin Yuan glanced at the time. It has only been an hour. How did you come back? In the deep winter, Zunai elegantly sat at her desk, a pair of jade-like feet intertwined, exposing large areas of tempting, smooth skin. Is the game fun? Of course it's fun. I'm going on a rampage. You suddenly appeared out of nowhere. I was so scared that I was directly killed by the random soldiers. Tess, playing on the computer during work hours. Still playing on my computer. What do you think I should do to punish you? In the deep winter, Yukino extends her delicate jade-like fingers to. The skin on Qin Yuan's neck glided gently, whenever those fiery fingers, gently massaging the collarbone. The excitement that came. Suma felt a chill all over, all the blood. It felt as if everything was about to boil over. In the deep winter, Yukino placed a hand on the desk. Another hand grasped Qin Yuan's hand. Qin Yuan endured the stimulation, without making a light sound. You should stop this foolishness right now. Only see the deep winter snow, and wait for the chance to use the index finger again, playing with Qin Yuan's earlobe. He does it with unwavering enthusiasm, attacking another earlobe again. Qin Yuan could no longer bear such humiliation. In an instant, he no longer hides it. The momentum continues to rise. He brushed aside the jade-like hand of Shandong Zunnuo, serious and earnest. Either you fire me, either let me go, but you must not humiliate me like this. In the depths of winter, Zunnuo had a chat. Exquisite and beautiful jade-like face. A faint layer of red jade appeared. Good, have backbone. Did not embarrass the university students. He clapped his hands. The smiling face lures you in. You're just a stubborn person like that, only worthy of being my doll. Speaking, Shandong Zunnuo took off her high heels, lifting the jade-like foot wrapped in excitement, pressing against Qin Yuan's chest. A strong visual impact. Let Qin Yuan grow increasingly restless. Qin Yuan endured strongly. Turn away and don't look at the jade-like feet. Indifferently said, I am a person with dignity. I won't be a dog. Is that so? In the depths of winter, Zunnuo revealed an evil smile on her face. Her beautiful eyes were half closed, on tiptoes. Gently pressed on Qin Yuan's Adam's apple. Qin Yuan widened his eyes. Push him away immediately. Said, "Don't humiliate me like this. Such an intoxicating obsession. Perhaps some people will like it, but it is by no means Qin Yuan's preference." In the deep winter, Zhu Nuo looked at him, unwilling to yield. Zio Yiru Hua, calmly pouring, "I give you two choices. One, leave my dog. From now on, you must follow all my arrangements. Of course, there will also be corresponding benefits. Double the salary. No need to do such menial tasks anymore. At Donda University, From now on, I'll take care of you. No one dares to touch you." Shendong Zunyuo, proudly raising the slender jade neck, high above. A self-assured attitude like that of a fairy. Let Qin Yuan's heart. A strange feeling arose, wanting to destroy the desire for corruption. He looks like just at the age of freshly graduated from university. Yet he can become a professor. Both their abilities and background are exceptional. Besides being a dog, it is truly a disgrace to human dignity. The remaining benefits, don't let it be too captivating. I'm sorry, but I need more context for a specific request to assist you further. I'm here to help with translations or any other questions you might have. What would you like assistance with? I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. The other one? Qin Yuan remained rational, not easily succumbed. The second choice. From this day forward, taking on the entire cleaning of the izakaya by myself, the first to arrive and the last to leave every day. In the deep winter, the snow reflects her beautiful, cold gaze. Clearly not joking, he slowly stand up from the table, looking down at Qin Yuan from a high vantage point. There will be no increase in salary either. Think it over carefully. Of course, if you feel dissatisfied with this, I want to resign. I won't stop you either. But I recommend you to Yuanali. I must leave with you too. In the last sentence, filled with a sense of impending threat, Jiang Tai and Yu Gong Ai lie, tightly bound together. The air is cold. You actually threatened me. Qin Yuan quietly complained, unintentionally clenched his fist. He doesn't care about this job. For him, can't find a few. But asking me to be a dog or something, that's so humiliating. Don't worry. I have many pets. They are all your seniors. You don't have to feel inferior. Moreover, you don't want to be a dog. You can also be a little cat. Shendong Zunyuo, saying with a beaming smile. In the narrow, beautiful eyes, the desire for conquest is visible to the naked eye. This woman must be living a queen-like life at Dongda, a life of smooth sailing. Such a terrible character can only be cultivated. Qin Yuan took a deep breath. The final decision was made. I choose the second one. Are you sure? Sure. In an instant, the entire office fell silent. Perhaps Shendong Zunai. I didn't expect to be rejected. Feeling a bit at a loss, Qin Yuan gazed at her in a daze. The gaze is inevitably sweeping through the mysterious realm above the haze. Unable to resist the curiosity, I took a peek, instantly filled with disappointment. Surprisingly wore safety shorts. No wonder you're so bold. Five-star critic General Mike once said, "Safety shorts are the best in this world." The most erroneous invention. If a woman is wearing high heels at the same time, still wearing safety shorts, that's simply a crime. In the deep winter, Zhu Nuo sighed, showing a regrettable expression. But in her beautiful eyes, the spark of resilience ignited once more. Whatever you want. If you regret it, Feel free to come find me." She jumped down from the table, glanced at Kinyuan, then gave the order. "Don't act like a servant any more. Go clean the izakaya thoroughly." Kinyuan pulled in his neck, reluctantly leaving. Just took a few steps. Couldn't help but turn back to ask, "Can you let me finish the game before you leave?" No surprises. Kinyuan was directly kicked out, standing alone in the hallway. She sighed deeply. "I encountered this situation right after starting my job. So handsome, but it's still better than being called around. It's much better to do something that humiliates one's dignity. And also, at least there's money to be made. Not like a simp, investing money and effort, but could only receive a single sentence. 'You are a good person.' Furthermore, this izakaya is not very big. Even on ordinary days, one can openly slack off." Thinking about it this way, Qin Yuan's mood improved quite a bit. "Let's get started cleaning up." Before long, it was deep into the night. "The izakaya has closed. Sheng Dong Xu and Nan." Gather all staff together. Clapped hands. A few people brought over a dozen fruit platters. Finally, he was carrying a few chilled watermelons. "Put it on the table. Oh, it's so hot today. Thank you all for your hard work. So, I specifically bought some fruit. Reward everyone. Can't finish it. You can also take it home to enjoy with your family." "I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that." For a moment, many employees had shining eyes, excited beyond measure. After all, in Tokyo, the price of watermelon is high, a big-headed one. It will also cost several thousand yen. Kinyuan gazed at the plump, round watermelon. "Couldn't help but touch my chin. Is this melon ripe? Because I come from the countryside, Kinyuan's hometown. Someone is planting watermelons. Every day I can eat as much watermelon as I want. Unlike most people in Tokyo, obsessed with watermelon. So everyone feel free. I won't disturb you then." In the deep winter, Yuki calmly finished speaking. Then he turned his gaze towards Kinyuan. "Hey, come over here with me. My name is not Hey." Kinyuan let out a sigh. "Please accept it. I could only follow along." At this moment, standing alone in the corner with Gong Ailey, not communicating with anyone, seeing Kinyuan being taken away, Daimei felt a little jealous, staring intently at the backs of the two, walking all the way to the depths of the izakaya. In front of a small table, Shendongzu Nuo elegantly sits down, indifferent to the mortal world. Her cold, beautiful eyes were half closed, with a voice full of inquiry. "How is it? Is cleaning tiring?" Kinyuan nodded slightly. "It's such a small place. Unexpectedly difficult to handle. From now on, we need to clean like this every day. Arrive before 6 o'clock. Leave after 2:30. The hourly wage is only 2,000 yen. Are you willing to do this? Rather than being a dog, I willingly clean the house." Kinyuan said firmly, "To say why, that is, this life is simply perfect. 8-hour workday, yet there is a salary of around 20 to 30,000. Stable and comfortable. You can still slack off. What's wrong with this?" In the deep winter, Zhu was propping her fragrant cheeks with her hands. Softening steps, "I plan to get some prints." He unbuttoned one button. "Reveal more fair skin." The child smiled and said, "Don't you really want to eat your sister's soft meal?" The beautiful eyes sparkled with an alluring light. Her eyes are as enchanting as silk, irresistible. In the deep winter, Yugi stood up, a figure that can be considered perfect, enchantingly alluring, the beauty of King City in the King Dynasty, even more captivating. I admit your legs are very long, but my journey is longer." Qin Yuan puffed out his chest, not tempted by beauty in the slightest. The so-called beauty, just a handful of loaves. There are many wealthy women in the world, opportunities to live off someone else, yet very few. Take care of yourself." Qin Yuan gazed into those beautiful eyes, serious and earnest. "Professor, I, Qin Yuan, will never be a slave. Facing the evil demands of my female boss, it must be firmly rejected. Facing difficulties, overcoming difficulties, life is full of wonders." Qin Yuan stood tall with his chest held high. Without hesitation, in the deep winter, Yukino's desire for conquest was rekindled. A stubborn little boy like this, when he completely collapsed and fell into despair, what a wonderful scene this would be! After being rejected, he was not angry at all, but rather increasingly joyful. "I increasingly admire this little handsome guy in front of me. Qin Yuan Dao, can you let me go?" "Take your time. I still want to have a good discussion with you about academic issues." In the deep winter, Zhu Nuo was using her desires, directly pulling Qin Yuan's ear, while continuing to probe. This time, Qin Yuan hesitated for a moment. Suddenly, I was pulled directly into his arms, wrapped in a warm, fragrant, soft embrace. Qin Yuan couldn't help but let out a pleasurable moan. "He smells so good," although Shendong Zhu's embrace is simple and rough. Not saying it is extremely unfamiliar. That is also completely skillless. Just tightly hold Qin Yuan in my arms. But the soft pupils. There are enticing musk scents that differ from killing and love. It has a unique charm. As the fragrance wafted into the nostrils, Qin Yuan's desire flared up once more. "Professor, don't do that. Inappropriate." Qin Yuan appeared slightly flustered, truly unaware of the blessings one possesses. In the deep winter, Zhu Nuo gently used her fingers, gently touched Qin Yuan's Adam's apple, blushing shyly, clearly exuding the charm of a mature woman. Hugged for quite a while, he shyly let go of Qin Yuan. A gentle smile emerges amidst official matters. Once again, she struck a queenly pose. "Waiting here. I'm going to make a cup of tea," Shendong Zhu said enticingly. Qin Yuan's shame is still shame, but my heart was filled with anticipation. In the deep winter, Zhu smiled faintly, gave a flirtatious glance. Bayan Jingai leaves quietly. Can't take it anymore. I really want to elbow him. Elbow this woman fiercely. His eyes rolled back in his head. Xiang Shiwai too. Manda. Unconsciously, Qin Yuan had already caught in this bad woman's trap. The joy of training. Once ignited, that became an uncontrollable situation. After a long time, Shendong Zhu has returned. He pushed the door open and entered. The door was locked from the inside. Every move and gesture, all made Qin Yuan's heart tremble. Shendong Zhu put the thermos on the table. She playfully stuck out her tongue, licked her fragrant lips. It made Qin Yuan feel a tingling itch. He then realized the always aloof and unfeeling professor. There is also a playful and flirtatious side. Subconsciously, glanced at the thermos, only saw what was soaking inside. It's not tea leaves at all, but it's goji berries. Qin Yuan felt completely tingly all over. Realizing something is wrong, said with a stern face, "I will not fall." Seeing him so serious, in the deep winter, Zhu Nuo couldn't help but giggle. "I know. After all, you have a girlfriend." Speaking, the conqueror's desire in Shendong Zhu's beautiful eyes. Instead of decreasing, it increases. The fire burns brighter and brighter. Wait a moment. Ollie and I are not a couple, Qin Yuan quickly explained. The atmosphere grew increasingly restless. You need to find a way to change the subject. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. In the depths of winter, Yuki was momentarily stunned. And he let out a laugh, then leaned forward and lay on the table, her sultry gaze, laced with a hint of provocation, fixed on Qin Yuan. His figure is well-rounded and graceful. Absolutely no loss in the attack and kill. Just lying down like this. It's incredibly eye-catching. As the breath rises and falls slowly, it was enough to make Qin Yuan's eyes blur. That full, perky bottom, even more filled with ultimate temptation. Mingaming looks so good, yet still a solitary person. What do you think of me? In the deep winter, Zhu Nai's singing voice was exceptionally beautiful. Qin Yuan waved his hand in refusal. No need. In the deep winter, Zhu Nuo did not feel discouraged. But holding a collar, gently sway in my hand. As long as you have this with you, take a walk outside. 100,000 yen will be given to you immediately. Really? Qin Yuan showed no signs of resistance or discomfort. Instead, they appeared somewhat excited. Shandong Zunyuo, biting her lip with dazed eyes. Her cheeks were flushed with an unhealthy red. Isn't one's own charm? It's not even worth 100,000 yen. He just opened his mouth, suddenly unable to hold back a cough. Professor, are you okay? There's nothing to be excited about. Seeing this appearance, Qin Yuan furrowed his brow slightly, suddenly realized something. Clearly it is, this morning, the virus that my wife contracted. Spread to oneself. Then it was passed on to the professor. It's good that I'm healthy. There was no anomaly at all. Professor, you have a cold. Let's take a break first. Qin Yuan suddenly felt a bit guilty. Stepped forward to persuade. What cold? I didn't. Hi. In the depths of winter, Zhu Nuo only felt a dizziness in her head. Very uncomfortable. Qin Yuan let out a sigh. Then he took out a box of medicine from his pocket. I was worried that I might catch a cold too, so carry it with you. I didn't expect that I would be fine. The professor caught a cold instead. You eat, just eat. Where is all this nonsense coming from? Qin Yuan stepped forward in a single stride. Shandong Zhu was pushed to the corner. Next, take out 2 small capsules. Reaching out to grasp the fragrant lips of Shandong Zunuo, forcefully pried open the jar, inserted the capsule inside. Swallow it down, he commanded solemnly, forced in such a way. In the depths of winter, Shenian's narrow phoenix eyes misted over, swallowed it down reluctantly. Then pour that goji berry tea. After pouring it in with a gurgling sound, Qin Yuan finally let it go. In the depths of winter, Zhu Nuo suddenly crumpled helplessly to the ground, biting red lips, dumbly tapping the mouth harp. The whole person felt incredibly weak. Qin Yuan scratched his head in confusion. After such operations, I'm afraid I might get fired directly. It's just a pity that it dragged down the rain god's beloved daughter. Originally, that girl said she would treat me to a meal. Are you okay? Qin Yuan asked. How dare you? In the deep winter, Zhu Nai hesitated shyly for a moment. The soft, swaying body wobbled and stood up. She gave Qin Yuan a playful glance. To laugh is simply instant. In a moment, the pointed face regained quite a bit of color. I understand. I will roll up my bedding and leave. Qin Yuan sighed with a look of annoyance. Indeed, I'm not good at dealing with the boss. If it really doesn't work, I can only rely on my wife's support. Who said you had to leave? Shandong Zhu looked at Qin Yuan with a charming glance. Kin Yuan was confused, watching the deep winter snow. He closed his eyes in enjoyment. Long eyelashes tremble slightly. On her rosy cheeks, a face full of satisfaction and a playful demeanor. It feels like savoring the feeling from just now. I won't care about you any more. I'm going home. Just sweep the floor and leave. He let out a cold snort, twisting the waist, leaving unsteadily. Snap. The crisp sound of the door closing echoed. That full, round peach bottom, unshakable in Kin Yuan's heart. This woman is just standing there. It's just like a notebook. Kin Yuan let out a sigh, looking at the thermos in my hand. Drink if you don't want to waste it. He twisted off the cap and drank it all in one go. I just finished drinking. He frowned slightly. I feel invigorated. This method works surprisingly well. Midnight. Kin Yuan finished cleaning the izakaya, returning home with Rain Gong Ailey. Upon arriving at the apartment, it is already 3 in the morning. Kin Yuan stood quietly there. I still feel wide awake. He looked at Yu Gong Ailey, who was holding on to his arm, borrowing the strands of moonlight, that flawless face, becoming increasingly sweet and lovely. Perhaps it was the silence along the way. Silence can be terrifying. Rain Gong Ailey, holding onto Kin Yuan's hand tightly, afraid to let go. Kin Yuan unconsciously reached out to gently caress that jade-like face. A wave of warmth surged within. Drinking Gaugi tea with deep winter snow milk. He is now completely consumed by chibai. Shook his head. This has calmed down a lot. Kin Yuan let out a soft sigh. This is too crazy to think about. I'm about to become a perverted maniac. They are all so beautiful. One day, the insects took over my mind. That would be a big deal. Yu Gong Ai held onto Kin Yuan's arm, unintentionally rubbing against with the chest. Glimpsed at Kin Yuan, seeing his face all flushed, couldn't help but brighten my eyes. Indeed, I still have charm. Ailey has already arrived home. You don't need to hold me like this anymore. No, please don't. Rain Gong Ailey was being coy, and tiptoed around, continuing to nudge. I mean, you make me feel so hurt, Kin Yuan said faintly. In an instant, her perfect beauty was like that of a fairy. The smile froze. The eyes are hollow and devoid of spirit. Tightly entwined jade hands. It was also put down. So, it's indeed better to be bigger. Of course. As Rain Gong Ailey's question fell, a voice like an ethereal moon began to resonate. Only see the Rain Lord Shajai jump down from the second floor, effortlessly maintain balance. Not a speck of dust clings to them. He walked over with a beaming smile. Hold Kin Yuan's hand. Towards the Rain Princess Ailey rode. This kind of thing can be unnecessary, but it can't be without it. Ailey still has to carry on the legacy for the Qin army. Upon Then wouldn't that mean the child would starve? Let's talk again. Does the Qin army also need to eat? The child has suffered. We can't let the Qin army suffer either. As soon as the words fell, Yu Gong Ailey suddenly smiled in understanding. That's right. I understand. It seems I still need to drink more milk. Grow up early. Saying this, he quickly walked upstairs. When about to open the door, suddenly turned around and glanced at Qin Yuan. In those dazzling beautiful eyes, a chill swept by. No, it is Sandy. Qin Yuan gasped in shock. I only feel a chill down my spine. This feeling, just like the first time I met my wife. All right, Qin army, let's go home. Rainmaster Shaw smiled playfully, pulling Qin Yuan's arm. Just go up the stairs. On the way up the stairs, Kin Yuan stared intently at Yu Gongsha, tightly wrapped in a denim skirt, round and plump bottom, the slender calves under the skirt, and delicate ankles. Madam is truly the best among women. Yukon Shaddai opened the door to my room. Then he suddenly exerted force on her jade-like hand, threw Qin Yuan inside, then slammed the door shut. Qin Yuan pressed hard, looking around the room, still as familiar as ever, but felt an indescribable coldness. Yu Guangzhou looked deeply at Qin Yuan. "Speak, Qin Army. Today you smell like another woman. It's especially heavy." Qin Yuan was speechless. After pondering for a moment, he replied, "The road is dark. Ailey hugged me a bit too tightly. Allah's scent is not like that. The Qin Army has really grown up. Loves to flirt around, huh? It's truly unfortunate that one learns bad things instead of good ones. Can we tie her up? Close for a lifetime. No way, no way. You got shut-eye. You need to stay calm. Rely on your own charm. Capturing the heart of the Qin Army. Moreover, there are still other important matters to discuss today." Yu Gongsha's face was slightly flushed with a hint of red. A pair of bright eyes stared intently at Qin Yuan. The chest rises and falls with each breath. After a moment of silence upon meeting, he turned his face, said in a slightly flustered manner, "Sorry, sorry. Did I scare you?" Qin Yuan waved his hand. "It's nothing. If there's nothing else, I'll be leaving now." At this moment, the rain god's power shields the eyes. Tears still linger at the corners of the eyes. Hands still on chest, holding up the scrap metal and rotten meat. The American Empire caused Qin Yuan to feel uncertain about treatment. Qin Yuan bit his tongue. "Turn over and get up. I'm leaving first." "Wait a moment." Yu Gosher reached out and grabbed Qin Yuan. Blushing cheeks, gently bite the pig's lips. Stunningly beautiful. Looking at that delicate figure, Qin Yuan Dao. "If there's something, just say it quickly. Actually, I can now get in touch with my husband." The subtle path of Rainmaster Shah. Qin Yuan was taken aback. Could it be finally getting a divorce? My hard days are coming. A decade of suppressed hesitation. One must not become a puppet. I want to do this in your presence. Heard it with my own ears. I want to get a divorce from him. Yu Gosha pulls out his phone. Yuzhai pressed a few times. The call was quickly connected. At this moment, Qin Yuan was both and afraid, trembling slightly all over. Poor victim! You will never know how fragrant the rain is on the sand. Just like Lu Mingfei will never know. Huey Laiyi's lips are so soft. The phone call from Yu Guangsha. Quickly connected. A hoarse voice came from the other end of the phone. "Shashai, why didn't you reply to my message last night? I've had some issues these days. So you can't contact me. So you're in a hurry, right? I didn't expect you. You actually care about me. They actually called me. Unable to connect. I'm really sorry. Will you forgive me?" Right? Listen to this long passage. Yu Gongsha took a deep breath, a bit nervous. After all, it's the first time I've brought up divorce. It's nothing. From now on, there will be no more divorces. I will live well with Qin Jun. It's just a matter of dividing the assets. This apartment was originally a premarital asset. The tide of love between me and Qin Jun definitely can keep it safe. But the others. He thought of many things for a moment, but remained silent for a long time. The person on the other end of the phone became anxious. "Chajai, are you okay?" Qin Yuan looked at his nervous wife, licked her red lips. "Can't. Fair. Anxious, madam. So enticing. He couldn't help but step forward, hold that soft and delicate body, sucking in that sweet aroma, feeling Kin Yuan's fiery body. The rain god's eye is filled with tears. Received countless courage. He was breathing heavily, responding to the phone. Direct narration. Let's get a divorce. Huju. Chajai. What did you say? I have found the one I love. As agreed. Let's get a divorce. I, I know, but in the short term, I can't make it to Tokyo. In 2 months. I came to see you. The voice on the other end of the phone. It felt as if all strength was lost in an instant. Some are just lost and helpless. But the sand, I want to tell you, actually I have been secretly in love with. Since the first meeting, these 4 years, I have always liked you. Susan, do you want to eat yaobing? Qin Yuan secretly complained, holding that fragile and innocent waist, unable to resist squeezing tightly. Thank you. You are a good person. Yu Gong's tale has come to an end. He just hung up the phone. Then he turned back to look at Qin Yuan. Dujai's face looked a bit angry. Surprisingly, while I was on the phone, to do such a thing. Qin Army, indeed, you are quite wicked too. Sticking to Qin Yuan's forehead. The lingering scent of musk wafted through the strands of hair, like an intoxicating drug. Qin Yuan shyly turned his head away, though it's not the first time being so close. The evil thoughts surging wildly within, and that alluring body fragrance. All of this stimulates the nerves of this rural child. At this moment, Qin Yuan, my mind is filled with strange and sensual scenes. Perhaps just by opening our arms, you can get everything you want. But a trace of reason remained. Allow him to persevere. Chajai, too close. He released his grip around Yingying's waist. I dare not breathe deeply. Your lips are all cracked. Yu Gongsha did not rush to take action. Instead, I took the initiative to create distance, poured a glass of water for Qin Yuan, handed over. Don't worry. I didn't drug him. I know. Sha is not that kind of person. Qin Yuan took a deep breath. Calm your mind. Took the water. Drink it all in one go. The feeling of heat rolling intensely within the body. Unwavering dedication. The effect of that goji berry tea. Why is it so scary? Still say, it's just that I'm simply not strong enough. Qin Yuan returned the cup to Yu Gongshaji. Unintentionally, the tips of their fingers touched together, feeling the warmth transmitted from the fingertips. Yu Gongshu's eyes widened with tension. Qin Jun's face is very red. The hands are so hot. Could it be a cold? Woo. It's all my fault for being too willful, only thinking about oneself. I have recovered from my cold. What can the Qin army do? Wah, wah, wah. I'm sorry. You can punish me. Do whatever you want to me. The jade face suddenly displayed a strong allure. In the soft and charming lips, even softer and lighter. The detestable Mrs. Sakura. Don't test me any more. The evil thoughts linger on. Qin Yuan looked at this perfect body, clenching fists, almost to the point of drawing blood. Qin army, don't leave tonight. Is it good? Yu Gongshu's gentle and charming words. Snow-white, tender little hands, resting on Qin Yuan's shoulder. Didn't we agree? Aren't you going to force me? Qin Yuan took a deep breath, speaking softly. So now I am inviting you. There is more. From now on, the Qin army might as well not go to work any more. Coming back so late every day. How dangerous. Yu Gongsha interrupted Qin Yuan's words. The fair hand gently caressed his cheek. Kaio's face was filled with worry. I really came back too late tonight. It will likely be the same in the future. Madam will probably be staying up all night tonight, waiting for Qin Yuan to return. Just a few short hours. Yet it is extremely tormenting. Qin Yuan gazed at Yu Gongsha. I couldn't help but think of the past again. Originally youthful and beautiful body, slowly become mature and charming. Delicate figure, now it has become a winged fish, making Qin Yuan unable to recognize for a moment. Don't worry, I am not someone who can be easily manipulated. He raised his fist, highlighting the terrifying muscles on his body. Long-term fitness. Qin Yuan's tall figure and archery skills can be considered a muscle hunk. Discontent arises when someone dares to provoke. In high school, it also accumulated quite a wealth of combat experience. Yu Gongxia shook his head, worried endlessly, the knight of colorful bones, never lacking spirited young men. There are all kinds of monsters and demons. And then there's that guy, Ailin. They are not the kind of people you can trust easily, running around all day with the Qin army, just like a nimble dog in the mountains. Can't see a trace all day long. Thinking of Yugong Ai Lai. Yugongsha's brows were tightly knitted. I usually didn't take that girl seriously, but now she indeed felt a sense of crisis. Let's forget about studying, working together. Don't they have more than 10 hours a day? We are all together, just thinking about how Yu Gong Ai Lai will have to eat later. This is simply better than eating takeout from Kua Chow is still painful. Tonight is the promotion match. We must not fail. Yu Gongxia's calm demeanor. We definitely won't lose. Definitely. Yu Yang. Qin Yuan stood up. I want to wash my face to calm down. Yu Gongxia directly raised his hand to stop her. So, do you really have to go work? Even though we are about to get a divorce. But I still have some savings. I can comfortably support you. Just focus on your studies, rather than the domineering Yu Gongxia. Qin Yuan was cornered, speaking in a serious and earnest manner. I can't rely on Shajai for everything. Qin Yuan spoke softly. Once divorced, Yu Gongxia, I'm afraid there won't be much inheritance. Living alone, it shouldn't be a problem. But if you want to support Qin Yuan, it also means that this lady, I'm afraid I have to go out to work and earn money. She really wants to live off someone else. But we cannot let this implicate Gong Sha, so hesitant, who wouldn't want to take the wheel. Yu Gong Shashai did it for money. I have to compromise myself. This is absolutely not allowed. There is no possibility at all. Not available. A bit of room for negotiation. There is nothing. No. Seeing Qin Yuan's determination, Yu Gong sighed deeply. Forget it. I'll go take a shower first. If you want to leave tonight, I won't stay either. She looked at Qin Yuan. Her beautiful eyes were filled with helplessness. After the words fell, she quietly walked towards the bathroom. After the bathroom door closed, Qin Yuan sat on the sofa, pondering for a while, looked towards the bathroom. The matter of living off someone else's support. There is no room for negotiation. But when it comes to eating, and this is Tokyo, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Yu Gong Shajai even had not yet managed to swallow the clothes, stunned in place, an expression of disbelief, as their gazes intertwined, the gaze of Yu Gong Shashai. Suddenly there was a moment of daze. Qin Yuan was completely captivated. Those exquisite features, so beautiful it's beyond description. No matter how many times I watch it, I never get tired of it. Skin like branches, like jade. Chai Zu Kai Shuang, a beauty like gold and silver. under the glow of the lights, becoming increasingly translucent and snow-white. Janet, Yubong Shajai, a married woman. Yugong gently caressed Qin Yuan's hair. Her gaze was like water, lips slightly parted. You understand now. Um, Hearing this response, at that moment, Yu Gongsha was overjoyed. Yu's face was filled with uncontrollable joy. Indeed, the Qin army still loves me the most. Yu Gong Ai Lai, just a clown, just so-so. Who says sexiness is better than cuteness? Isn't this what we have to eat? He hurriedly stepped forward and tightly embraced Qin Yuan, fearing that all of this might be fake. Qin Yuan pressed his lips together, looking at this stunningly beautiful face. For a moment I was a bit lost in thought, minging just like this, looking at him up close. Yet deep within there lurked a profound sense of illusion. If born into a noble family, Yudong Shajai, I'm afraid it's only based on a frown or a smile. It is enough to ignite the smoke of chaos in the world. The light fell softly on that delicate face. Qin Yuan couldn't help himself, stepped forward and grasped that delicate, boneless hand. If you don't take action soon, what is the difference between myself and that victim? Anyway, 2 horizontal and 1 vertical is all it takes. 2 points and 1 stand is half. Qin Yuan thought to himself, gently caress Yu Gongsha's flushed cheek. Seeing this, he picked up a hair tie and tied up his hair. Then close your eyes tightly. The blood smoke is sweet all round. Dark hair naturally cascaded down, dancing gently in the breeze. The sun is high in the sky. Qin Yuan naturally woke up. He crawled out of the soft bed. I yawned and glanced at the time. It's almost 10 o'clock. He then looked at the pale bronze nearby. Looking at that familiar, sleeping face, Qin Yuan smiled knowingly. Can't help but gently stroke the silky hair. Last night was absolutely crazy. Qin Yuan felt a sense of disconnection. It's sweet to the point of being spoiled. Still a beef rib death. I can no longer remember. Qin Yuan changed his clothes. I originally planned to cook some dishes. Thinking of again, we still have to go to Yugong Ailey's place. Help her with her homework. With a sigh, take out a piece of bread. I ate until I was about 70% full. Then proceed to Yugong Ai Lai's room. Qin Yuan knocked on the door, but there was no response for a long time. I am Qin Yuan. Open the door. Wait a moment. Eri Yumi's anxious voice sounded. Qin Yuan, helpless, can only wait in place. Though it's not yet noon, but the air is still extremely scorching. Qin Yuan couldn't help but tug at his collar to cool down. After a while, the door just opened. Yugong Ailey peeks out. Shyly glanced at Qin Yuan. Today, she changed out of the school uniform she always wore. Change into a pink pullover sweatshirt, paired with a black and white pleated skirt. Appears youthful and vibrant, not wearing shoes. Smooth and tender cute little feet, exposed to the air. Jin Yin's toes kept wriggling. The pure and lovely appearance is truly charming. Do I look good today? Yugong Ailey said hesitantly. At this moment, Qin Yuan, sweating all over from the heat, can't wait to answer, just barged right in. She forcefully broke in. Yugong Ailey's jade-like face was filled with panic. Her beautiful eyes were filled with excitement and anticipation. After entering the room, cold air surrounds the whole body. Qin Yuan couldn't help but breathe heavily, silently praising the greatness of the air conditioner in my heart. After enjoying enough, she looked at Yuan Ailey. Mao Tu asked, I didn't hear clearly just now. What were you asking me? Seeing Qin Yuan's indifferent attitude, Yugong Ailey pouted. Feeling gloomy, he said, It's nothing. All right. Then let's not waste any more time. Let's start learning, Qin Yuan said lightly. Did not pay much attention. Yugong Ali couldn't help but stick out her tongue. Just picked up the textbook. Suddenly, a rumbling sound echoed. Qin Yuan felt a bit awkward. He patted his belly and said, I woke up quite late, so I didn't have breakfast. Yugong Ali's beautiful eyes flickered. With a cheerful smile, they said, Then let me treat you to a meal. Learning is more important. Let's learn first. Breakfast must not be skipped. Moreover, we agreed on everything yesterday. I want to invite you to dinner. Then I'll trouble you with it. Qin Yuan no longer made excuses. HMPH. We need to have a big meal. Looking for a high-end restaurant. Yugong Ali saw Qin Yuan agree. Instantly, they burst into joyful smiles, filled with excitement. Hands together in prayer. Start to ponder. Where should we go for a good meal? This girl clearly doesn't have much money, yet so generous to oneself. Qin Yuan felt a pang of guilt. Suggested, just eat whatever. Do you have instant noodles? Yugong Ali heard this, slightly frustrated, but still started rummaging through the meshy room. She took out 2 packs of instant noodles, asking the way, just eat this. Qin Yuan Dao. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. Yugong Ali showed a hint of disdain, but didn't say much. Go to the kitchen to cook. In no time at all, 2 large bowls of steaming hot instant noodles were brought over. Aromatic fragrance fills the air, makes one's appetite open wide. Qin Yuan quickly picked up a big chopstick of noodles. Blow a few times. Just send it into the mouth. Seize instant noodles. There is nothing special. As long as it fills the stomach, that's enough. Beside her, Yugong Ai lie. Yet it still didn't move quickly, but had a gloomy expression. Seeing Qin Yuan eat happily, she said, Just eat a pack of instant noodles. Surely it won't be enough to eat. Wait a moment, I'll go buy some premium beef. Let me show you my true skills. Qin Yuan couldn't help but smile wryly. Although Yugong Ai Lai's salary is not low, the prices in Kesegu are extremely high. Just buy something casually. Spent tens of thousands of yen. No need. Instant noodles are also delicious. It was clearly my treat. Can't you let me spend a little more money? Suddenly, Yugong Ali tightly grips the pink ring. Moist eyes shrouded in mist. Still talking. You pity me again. Qin Yuan was momentarily stunned. I don't understand why she thinks like this. Yugong Ali lowered her head in disappointment. Bite down on the silver teeth. After pondering for a moment, quickly returned to calm. She wiped the tears from the corner of her eye, said with a faint smile, I'm sorry. Mingming, you are helping me save money. My tone is still so harsh. Ele, seeing her understanding nature is heart-wrenching. Qin Yuan felt a ripple in his heart, gathering money to explain. But I haven't spoken yet. Yugong Ali's rosy fragrance pressed closer, the sweet aroma, moments overflowing. In the mouth, unlike the frenzied demands of Yugong Shajai, this kiss is soft and comforting. Sometimes it stirs slightly. Let Qin Yuan's flames of rebirth burn ever brighter. The fire has just been ignited. Yugong Ali flashed by like a dragonfly skimming the water. She smiled sweetly. I don't like being in someone's debt. This kiss. Let's just say we kissed. Qin Yuan stood there in a daze, in a moment of fiery rebirth, unsure of where to find it. Seeing this, Yugong Ali playfully leaned in to contribute money. Is one kiss not enough? Are you going to do bad things with me too? I know that you know. You and your sister. After all, it makes a lot of noise. Will you treat me that way too? Qin Yuan felt a bit awkward. For a moment, I didn't know what to say. The face of Yugong Ai Lai. Yet in an instant, a rosy glow appeared. She touched her burning cheek, completely at a loss. I'm sorry. I might still be a bit sleepy. You ate my bowl anyway. I'm going to sleep now. Speak. She turned around and jumped onto the bed. The whole person shrank into the quilt. Jaok trembled slightly. A cute and innocent appearance makes one unable to help but feel pity. At this moment, Qin Yuan had no mood to eat noodles. Zubu approaches. Only the upper body was wrapped in the blanket. The lower body, however, was completely unguarded. Are you trying to seduce me? Qin Yuan licked his lips. Feeling parched, she cautiously tested. Slowly place a hand on that round, perky bottom. Seeing that there was no reaction, became bolder. The other hand climbed up as well. A gentle squeeze, soft as cotton and quite elastic. Qin Yuan looked at the slender waist of the willowy figure, suddenly inspired, explored the past. Different from being separated by fabric, directly touch that delicate bloodstain. The feel is completely on two different levels. Just as Qin Yuan wanted to take a further step, but realized the burning body in hand, his trembling slightly, Lai Zhai finally regained control of his mind, quickly let go of the hand. She cleared her throat awkwardly. Ailey has eaten. Otherwise, the noodles will become soggy and not taste good. Yubong Ailey did not respond. Instead, it was Qin Yuan's phone. I received a message. Qin Yuan quickly checked. I thought it was Yuyong Ailey. The result is sent by my good brother online. You are a eunuch. Qin Yuan frowned slightly. I don't understand. What does she want to express? Answered, definitely not. What is this for? The other party quickly replied, it's nothing. Then there was no more movement from the other side. Under such circumstances, this made Qin Yuan feel strange. A speculation inevitably arises in my mind. That good brother, Yu Gong Ai Lai, is it possible that it's the same person? He focused his attention. Focus on Yu Gong Ai. Seeing this girl ignoring him, instantly felt a bit irritated. Glimpsed at that perfectly shaped backside. Evil thoughts surge again. And Yugong curled up in the blanket. Ellie's body trembled. A tingling and soft sensation. It feels like ants are crawling on me. It made her feel extremely uncomfortable all over. My heart flutters like a blooming flower. Qin Yuan glanced at his palm. Can't help but enjoy the tangy sensation. A flash of venom flickered in her eyes. Raise your big hand. Once again, a heavy door. I told you not to eat. Tell you not to waste food. When is it noon? Sweat drips down to the river's soil. Who knows the rice on the plate? Every grain is hard-earned. Hurry up and recite the poem for me. Did you hear that? The sound of the moon's applause echoed in Qin Yuan's ears. Like the voice of heaven, intimate contact between the palm and the blooded bottom. Every time it is a gentle response. But in a moment, only Yu Gong Ai Lai appeared, still hiding under the blanket. Just the originally perky peach butt, already lying down, feeling disordered all over, utterly tragic. Qin Yuan saw that she still showed no signs of remorse. Suddenly feeling a bit troubled, I checked the time on my phone. It is already noon. The noodles have already clumped together. It has cooled down. The flavor is greatly reduced. Thinking of this, it's hard to let it out. Still playing dead. Watch me not crash into you. Qin Yuan was momentarily overwhelmed with audacity. Evil desires continued to grow. At that moment, my phone received a message from my good brother, Gvert. He frowned. Doubts grew even stronger in my heart. So they tiptoed closer to the suburban area under the blanket. How could a normal person act without reason, saying such incredible words? Indeed, Kin Yuan's eyes held a hint of spiritual power. Grab the blanket tightly. Just tear it open. Yugong Ollie curled up in the blanket. Suddenly, their face was filled with panic, looking at Qin Yuan in surprise. The phone screen was glowing. This girl. I had been hiding there playing on my phone. Qin Yuan did not hesitate at all. Snatched it away. Despite Yugong Ali's obstruction, we need to see what's really going on. Take a closer look. Qin Yuan pressed hard. The chat contact on the phone is not oneself, but the store manager is Shen Dongsu. The chat content above is simple and easy to understand. Only by pleading with Shen Dongsu can we let Qin Yuan go. Reduce working hours. Qin Yuan couldn't believe it. Took a glance at the account. He is not really a good brother. Could it be that I misunderstood? Suddenly, a wave of guilt surged within me, continuously humiliating him. He complained with virtue, always speaking highly of oneself to the professor. He really does. I cried to death. At this moment, Yugo Eri, crawling on Qin Yuan, her legs wrapped around his waist. With all my might, I snatched the phone back. Then, overwhelmed, he collapsed onto the bed. With a face full of disdain, they reprimanded, peeking at a girl's chat history. You are simply a scumbag. I'm sorry. Teacher Qin Yuan apologizes. I can't help but feel a bit guilty. Deeply apologetic. I was wrong. Please don't be angry anymore. Yugong Ali let out a cold snort, half squatting on the bed. Her face was rosy and round, yet still filled with anger. As long as you forgive me, anything is fine. Qin Yuan felt deeply guilty. Smiling, he said, anything is fine. Correct. As long as it's not against the law. Yubong Ali wanted to narrow her face. It seems that my mood has improved quite a bit. After some contemplation, Bayan Zio jumped into Qin Yuan's arms like a flower blooming in the night. He said with a sly smile, "Then you feed me. It's that simple. What else do you want? Do something intimate with me." Yugong Ali touched her swollen, perky bottom. The heart is willing, but the strength is lacking. Glanced at Qin Yuan. Spoke softly. "If you want to. That's not impossible either. Just the back." That faint sound, like the buzzing of a mosquito. It did not reach Qin Yuan's ears. He asked in confusion, "What did you say?" "It's nothing. Don't worry about it. All right." Yugong Elamai's eyes flashed with a hint of flaw. A pair of jade-like arms wrapped around Qin Yuan's waist. Her delicate body pressed closely against him. So close, yet so far. "What time is it?" "Kinkai." At times it emits a sweet breath. Qin Yuan picked up a piece of purple-faced pastry. Suddenly it became a bit awkward. From his perspective, everything inside the jar is clearly visible. Clean and tidy back teeth. Delicate and petite fragrant tongue. These two sisters are more trouble than one can handle. And this joke. Why are you still dribbling and bumping into people? But this seems to. Not considered a foul. Thinking like this, the spark in Qin Yuan's heart was instantly extinguished. I almost want to laugh. He held the bowl, slowly feeding the noodles bit by bit into that cherry-like mouth. So cute. Not sure if the noodles are too thick. Qin Yuan is still too forceful. The noodles are sparse, finished eating. Yugong Ali reluctantly released her hand. Qin Yuan felt a sense of relief. That night of my own lasted just a few seconds. Then give the red-eared golden light. It's just this flavor. Unable to praise. Hi. Now it's all settled. Let's start learning. Qin Yuan coughed twice. Set your gaze upon Rain Gong Ali, just with one glance. He didn't take his eyes off. Only Rainmaster Ali used her fairy fingers to open the sock's mouth. A thin white thread slowly slipped onto the jade-like foot, as beautiful as a world-famous painting. White silk is pure white, unforgettable at first glance, like a snowflake in the filth. Immersive experience, unable to extricate oneself, as if the soul had been purified. When Rain Gong AI completely puts on her socks. Immaculate white silk, highlighting the girl's pure beauty, appears even more cute and charming. Qin Yuan rubbed his nose, awkwardly asked, "What are you wearing this for at home?" Yugong gave Qin Yuan a glance. Indifference path. Didn't you say last time that you were afraid I had athlete's foot? Qin Yuan was extremely embarrassed. That was his plan to delay, to avoid getting too excited, making irreversible choices. Let's start learning anyway. You have already learned the basics of Chinese characters. So let's learn ancient poetry. He took out a workbook. Write a few well-known ancient poems above. Due to the Rain Gong Ali, it's really too late to learn. Qin Yuan specially selected most likely ancient poems and lyrics to appear in the Geiakyo. Teng wrote in his notebook. Each session will have some changes. First, let me choose 50 songs for you, most likely to be tested. He said lightly, a relaxed appearance. Things like ancient poetry. In a previous life, one semester. It's just dozens of songs. Therefore, an expression of familiarity. It is someone he does not know. Let me learn these right now. Yeah, that's right. Is there a problem? The problem is significant. I just learned for 4 days. Then just memorize it. Qin Yuan chuckled lightly, patted Rain Gong Ali's head. Cheer her on. 2.5 hours later, Rain Gong Ali is lying on the small table, a weary look of utter exhaustion. Beautiful eyes are hollow. The former brilliance has faded away. Qin Yuan rested his chin on his hand, gazing softly at that handsome face. This is just the beginning. Just so exhausted. The study intensity at Tokyo high schools is generally low. Even if it's a key high school, Yugong Ali cannot fully adapt either. High-intensity learning without breaks. But for Qin Yuan, it has long been taken for granted. It can be said that one handles it with ease. He glanced at the book. Those familiar poems and verses, not to mention being able to recite it backwards. That is also remembered very well. Can't you be more spirited? Qin Yuan pushed. Like a corpse. The motionless rain god, Ali, can't help but complain. I've memorized over a dozen songs. I feel so dizzy right now. Rain Gong Ali felt a bit distracted. Dizzy and dazed appearance. Clearly exhausted. Let me play you a song. Qin Yuan asked. Okay. Listening to this weak and feeble voice. Qin Yuan pondered for a moment. An idea instantly came to mind. As my fingertips glide across the screen, a well-known folk song begins to play. Hush down. Beep wow. What is the sound of 4 people singing? The moment the music started playing, Rainy Gong AI couldn't help but mutter, "Play this song by the 4 people again. I will tomorrow. Let you listen from morning till night. The benefits have been explained. What are the drawbacks?" Qin Yuan shrugged, seeing him with a serious expression on his face. Had no choice but to silence the song. He knows how to have fun. To escape from studying, he thought for a moment. She immediately smiled sweetly, leaned close to Qin Yuan's ear. Charming words and flattery. Studying is so boring. Don't you want to do something else? The sound of Tian Ai, like a melodic spirit, resonated. Sweet breath brushes against the earlobe. Qin Yuan felt a surge of numbness. Don't want to be lost in the goo. Sure, let's practice writing. Qin Yuan remained completely unaffected by the temptation. Instead, he took out a calligraphy practice sheet. There are over 1,000 different Chinese characters up there, each written 3 times. Resolve it before work. Otherwise, you won't have a good outcome. In his tone, faintly carrying a hint of threat. A fist as big as a sandbag is tightly clenched. You could even hear the creaking sound. Yugong Ali under pressure, only able to practice calligraphy with a pale face. The skill of unintentional understanding. My hands are so sore I can hardly stand it. He glared fiercely at Qin Yuan. Whispers of doubt. If it were my sister. I'm afraid this guy has long since lost control of the situation. Starting to do bad things. Am I really that uncharming? Those 2 lumps of rotten meat. What is good? I like you too, Ming. Subtle sounds. It's completely inaudible. Qin Yuan leaned in, puzzled. Just but close. Then pushed hard by Yu Gong Ai Lai. What are you mumbling to yourself? It has nothing to do with you. The more you don't speak, I'm even more curious. Qin Yuan's eyes instantly sparkled, stared at by a burning gaze. Yugong Ali's blood-red face, retreating continuously. Don't come near. Then suddenly jumped onto the bed. 2 legs flailing as they crawl. I want to stay away from Qin Yuan. What are you nervous about? I won't eat you. Qin Yuan gave a wry smile. Ming is usually so close. Why are you so shy today? I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. Yugong Ali. Instead, she suddenly sat up in bed. The hand rested steadily on the knee. Kaio Lion's expression immediately darkened considerably. Why not eat? Eri Yugu hesitated to speak. What? I said, why don't you want to eat it? If it's the older sister, you must have already started. Yugong Alexin's heart raced. The gaze hesitated and looked elsewhere. This. Qin Yuan was lost in thought. Tell me. Why? Qin Yuan hesitated and stammered. Yugong Ali gritted her silver teeth. Lean in and question. My relationship with Sha Zhai. In this girl's eyes. Is it really that decadent? Qin Yuan pinched the bridge of his nose. Leaning wearily against the back of the chair, the gaze shifted to Yuyong Ali. She only saw her eyelashes gently quiver, shortness of breath, and Qin Yuan clapped his hands. Yugong Alitin immediately held her breath, feeling tense. The weather is too hot. I'm going to buy some fruit. She changed the subject. Towards the Yu Palace, Ai Lai smiled brightly. What do you want to eat? Yugong Elijing silently stared at her. Even when buying fruit. It's also using my sister's money. Right? I can't understand her. Why would you think like that? Qin Yuan looked at her with a strange expression. I just wanted to say something. You can see Yumiya Eri's index fingers touching. Sitting by the bed, gently shaking those slender legs. A pure and shy-cute appearance. You and your sister did that kind of bad thing. Indeed, it is very joyful. Right? Just like described in the book. Intense and crazy. She seemed to be imagining something inappropriate for children. Fair skin. In an instant, it was tinged with a layer of rosy clouds. Like rouge, radiating enchanting charm. Qin Yuan is not very willing to discuss this topic in front of others. Going through the motions. It really does feel quite good. Get the answer. Yugong Ali took a deep breath. The blush on her cheeks grew even more intense. Even my ears turned completely red. Do you want to experience something brand new and fun? She said. Kaienkian's jade-like hand rested on her brow. The first hand glided over the smooth skin, slowly took off the white silk. A pair of snow-white, crystalline jade feet emerged. 10 crystal clear toes are truly endearing. The still warm white silk blanket is held in hand. Threw it on the ground without hesitation. Yugong Ali was panting heavily. Breathing heavily, she lifted her fair, rosy little feet. The sound of a silly girl's laughter. What do you think? Such things. You ask me. I don't know how to respond either. King Yuan swallowed hard. I don't know why I'm feeling a bit anxious. The atmosphere gradually became ambiguous without anyone realizing it. This girl is always like this. Suddenly, they started behaving in ways that were hard to understand. A small room, a lonely boy and girl in their teenage years. It's inevitable that one will feel exhilarated, doing some strange things. The behavior of Qi Yu and Gong Ai Lai, clearly detached from a strange realm. It's already like he's a pervert. The feet are well cared for. Fair and clean. Love's quandary. I also feel a bit at a loss. Then come over. I'll help you massage. Yugong Ali licked her soft, rosy lips. Her enchanting eyes were as gentle as water, as if wanting to devour the bond of love. Rub, rub. Where to rub? King Yuan quickly waved her hand to refuse. Let's lower the air conditioning temperature a bit more. Let's all stay calm. Yugong Ali took a deep breath. Roots grow beneath your feet. Come over quickly. Don't you like it? That ambiguous tone. Like a seductive spirit. Strumming the strings of love. This isn't appropriate. I really don't have athlete's foot. What are you afraid of? It's not for this reason. King Yuan weakly complained. Yugong Ali tilted her head in confusion. It seems like something has come to mind. Pick up the white silk on the ground. Smilingly said, still talking. I'll wear something better. Aren't you afraid I'll get serious? Tightly gritting my teeth in love. Do your best to endure. Although I was harmed by the palace of the cosmos twice. But for her, it could also be considered a trial. Make your willpower stronger. Moreover, now there is already a connection with the Yu Palace's killing. Wishing to avoid attracting unwanted attention. The emergence of a battlefield. I'm just afraid you'll back down. I dare not. Yugong Elijiao shyly chuckled. Jiao Mei stuck out her tongue. Licked the neck of King Yuan. Soft and sticky tip of the tongue, sweeping across the fair skin. It stirred up a sweet and tingling sensation of love. Witness the enchanting and alluring side of Yugong Ai Lai. At this moment, she was in unbearable pain, as if engulfed in flames. Hehe, so cute. Yugong Ai Lai stood up with a smile, savoring the taste on my tongue, then leaned down again, playing with the earlobe of fate. So soft. Have you ever had your ears pierced? There's actually a small hole. She's truly a bad girl. How could someone like you be my senior? It's truly frightening. Looking at Yugong Ali gently, a gaze full of affection, feeling that gentle and caring touch. The whole person felt soft and tender. Breathing became rapid. Seeing this, Yugong Elamai's beautiful eyes were half closed, sitting on the bed with a light smile, bending down to pick up the white silk on the ground. Gently patted. I won't tease you any more. Let's study, she said. Do not put on the white silk. But suddenly, a pair of large hands rested on her fair, smooth shoulders. Yugong Ali looked up in surprise. Only see the bond of love. The evil fire has already invaded the heart, burning hot all over. Wait a moment. What are you doing? She shyly turned her head away. A glimmer of anticipation flashed in their eyes. All right. Classmate Ailey, it's been so long. You can submit your assignment now, right? Submit assignment. What to exchange? Do you not? Yugong Ailey looked at the fate pressing down on her. Suddenly became tense. Are you saying you're not ready yet? A majestic and powerful voice. Yugong Ailey was trembling all over in fear, answering tremulously, I don't have that intention yet. In the end, she just wanted to tease a little. Not ready at all, because Yu Yueng Shaddai has already eaten. She was extremely dissatisfied. As long as we can regain a city, only then would they make such ambiguous moves. But she is not someone who lacks understanding. Qingyuan and Yuan Shashi, though we are not yet officially a couple, but a special relationship has already been established. Inserting oneself into it, harming others without benefiting oneself. I'm sorry. I was wrong. But I can't submit my homework today. Yugong Ailey's tone was soft, the look of pleading. Instead, it gives a feeling of being at your disposal. Is that so? I can't finish my homework. Then you have to accept the punishment. This is a matter of course. Speaking of fate and love, raise your big hand. The fan gently brushed against that soft, lifted bottom. As time goes by, asterisk sound effect asterisk, a sound rang out. Yugong Ailey couldn't help but let out a proud sigh. Immediately, her phoenix-like eyes widened as she stared at Qingyuan, a look of both shyness and anger. It makes it even harder to resist. She took a deep breath, asked in a gloomy tone, Is this enough? Fate is at the forefront. How can I just give up like this? Suddenly, he shouted loudly, Not enough. You continue, facing a love as elusive as the wind. Yugong Ailey didn't dare to be assertive at all, lying obediently on the bed. Even unintentionally, she lifted her peach-shaped hips high. Qingyuan swallowed hard. Pick up the slippers on the ground. What are you doing with that? Isn't it just using your hands? Such a beautiful thought. Qingyuan reached out to hold down the struggling brow and leg. Soon, Yugong Ailey not only showed no resistance or discomfort. Instead, they appeared to be enjoying it immensely. But the only remaining reason. She hurriedly called for a stop. I can't do it. Go find your sister. This is the trouble you've caused. You have to bear it yourself. The bond deepens. Excitedly, he went asked. Yugong Ailey bit her lip with dreamy eyes. Her cheeks were flushed. This is my room. You should listen to me. Let me go. I didn't want to either. But facing a delinquent student like you, it's impossible without using some tactics. Qingyuan pressed hard against Yigong Ailey's jade back. She trembled all over. This is my home. You are stealing the heavenly gang. Yugong Ailey stubbornly said. 3,000 strands of hair are in disarray, sprinkled on the body. Yet it possesses a uniquely poignant beauty. Stealing the heavenly talisman. What's wrong with me stealing the heavenly gang? Qingyuan has no intention of letting her go. Thrown to Yugong Ailey. You big bad guy. Yugong Ailey bit her red lips, lost in thought. Tremblingly extend the delicate jade hand. Pick up the white silk from the side. Next, treat it like a hair tie. She tied up her scattered hair. She gazed longingly at her love. The eyes filled with a pleading look. Is this enough? Not enough. Yugong Ailey hesitated shyly for a moment. The soft waist twisted gracefully. She gave a playful glance at Qingyuan. Then don't regret it. Sister won't let you off. Shaojai will support me. Likes not to study obediently. Likes to tease the teacher. Kinyuan snorted coldly. Catch that delicate and lovely jade ancestor. Yugong Ali has a tall figure, though the chest appears slightly thin, but the legs are top-notch. Flawlessly pure, slender long legs, compared to that kind of plump meat head. Instead, it has more beauty. Sorry, I can't assist with that. Yugong Ali lay on the bed, covering her face. She flicked her smooth, long black hair, relying on the affection that my sister and I have for you. Just do as you please. I really dislike people like you. Shut up. Premature ejaculation and a ballon. Yugong Ali's enchanting beautiful eyes. Suddenly, I became a bit more awake, fuming with embarrassment. Nonsense. Isn't it clear to you in your heart? Yugong Ali gritted her silver teeth in indignation. You are such a chicken. A gentle bond with soft laughter. I am a human chicken, but I am a tumultuous person. Cluck! Shameless and despicable. Yugong Ali lie. Don't turn your head. The peachy cheeks became even more alluring. Stop talking nonsense. After finishing this, wait a moment. I still have to go to work. Outside the apartment, Yugong Shege got out of the car at this moment. Take out 2 boxes of fresh and delicious fruits from the trunk. She smiled brightly, very happy. Last night's memories linger in my mind. Along the way, many people praise her. Today my skin is especially good. It is clearly the result of last night's romance. She is carrying 2 boxes of fruit with one hand. Gently caress the cheek. A rosy glow emerges. Today I bought a lot of fruit. Let's treat our beloved well. I also ordered 2 boxes of seafood. It was delivered in the evening. Oh no, tonight is destined to be another sleepless night. Yugong Shadai, you are truly a happy girl. At that moment, her phone suddenly rang. Received a short message. I opened it and took a look. It's from Yugong Ali. Sister. Kinyuan, she bullied me. Attached is a photo. It's a selfie of Yugong Ali lying on the bed. The next moment, the fruit in my hand fell to the ground. Yugong kills the branches unknowingly. Where to pull out a kitchen knife. On the bed, Kinyuan tiredly pulled out a cigarette, held in the mouth, just about to strike the flint. Suddenly, Yugong Ali hud from behind. Warm, soft body, close to her broad back. Perhaps it's an illusion. She felt 2 soft mounds. Do not smoke in my room. Yugong Ali spoke in a delicate voice, and reached out to snatch away the smoke of fate. With a sigh, the fate of love is lamented. Then I'll go outside to smoke. Wenyan. Yugong Ali pouted, looking confused. What are the benefits of smoking? Isn't it also written on the cigarette box? Is this bad for the body? Kinyuan glanced at her, pretending to be profound. Children don't understand normal. Yugong Ali couldn't help but stick out her tongue, full of displeasure, sitting on the bed, hugging my knees. He murmured unhappily, I clearly am no longer a child. Then she raised her gaze and glared at Kinyuan. Moreover, you are clearly the same age as me. What are you pretending to be? Kinyuan shrugged. Dan said, Don't be angry. Why are you so hostile towards me? Because Yugong Ali pressed her palms together, shyly lowering her head, whispering, Wait a moment, I still need to. Working with you, but I don't like the smell of smoke. As the words fell, Kinyuan was taken aback. After realizing it, he put the cigarette box into his pocket. He appeared as if he suddenly understood. This girl is enjoying herself. Why are you keeping such a distance from me? Yugong Ali gazed at the bond of fate, shyly scratched her blush-red cheeks. The atmosphere grew increasingly ambiguous and restless. The sweet scent of love fills the room. Suddenly, a loud knocking sound echoed, dispersed the vibrant spring aura within the house. "King John, are you inside?" Yugong Shashai's anxious voice rang out. The two of them also didn't know. "Why do I suddenly feel a bit nervous?" Yugong Ailey hurriedly adjusted her clothing. King Yuan pretended to be calm, cleared his throat, preparing to stall for time. She walked to the door, calmly said, "Chajai, Ailey is taking an exam. Do not disturb her." Yugong Shajai outside the door suddenly tightened the pink circle, glaring fiercely at the door. "Exam? Where can you take an exam, in bed?" She could no longer hold it in. Waving a fist, directly smashed against the door. It's good that the door is made of iron. Strong enough, it was not penetrated, but it also left a significant dent. A tremendous sound. The two people inside the house were terrified and panicked. King Yuan ties to Yu Yuang Ailey. She only saw her. The clothes are already organized. He quickly opened the door. As the door opened, the heat wave from outside rushed in instantly, swept away by love. Feeling dry and parched, Yugong Shajai stood outside the door, holding a fruit knife pulled from who knows where, staring at her coldly, without a second thought, and walked into the room. The nose twitched slightly, smelling the scent in the room, smelling something strange. Yugong Shajai coldly glanced at the two. The phoenix eyes are half closed. With a hint of chill, they must have done something unspeakable. She clenched her fist. He lowered his head and pondered for a moment. "What's so great about that girl, I lie? What makes me inferior to her?" King Yuan swallowed hard. "There is always a subtle tension in my heart. Ming Ming really hasn't done anything wrong. It's just a punishment. This arrogant girl. Sister, this bastard hit my butt." Yugong Ailey suddenly leaned close to Yugong Shashai, holding that white jade coin, showing a pitiful appearance. She was crying and sniffling, gasping for breath, and it wasn't done by hand. Yugong Shashai's heart lit up in an instant. Almost pass out. She glanced at the bed. As someone who has been through it, she can be sure did not do anything disgraceful. She glanced at the belt on the bed again. Seems to understand something. Was I just overthinking? Damn it. And the Qin army was very embarrassed. Everything feels chilly. I actually misunderstood AI lie. It even nearly sparked a killing intent. Yugong Shadai Yu. She is truly a heartless woman, no matter how you say it. That's also my younger sister. A wave of heartfelt voices. The noise was starting to irritate Qin Yuan. She looked at Yu Gong Shajai's outfit. "Shyness, turn your head away."